Welcome to the party. I'm Sam Ekstrom of Locked On Sports Minnesota. Locked On's top 100 revealed. Vikings top 91 continues.
Hey, this is Arif Hasan with the Wide Left Substack. A new collusion/NFLPA ruling came out today that suggested that maybe players were faking injuries. I can assure you that Luke Braun is not.
What's happening? Luke Inman at Luke_Spinman. We're well over 48 hours since Braun went missing. Arif, I think you're in the clear, buddy.
Locked On Sports Minnesota Podcasts. It's endless Minnesota Vikings talk with the diverse voices of your local experts. It's time for the Minnesota Football Party. It's your guys hanging out talking next level Vikings football. So join in with Arif Hasan, Locked On Vikings Luke Braun, Superior Sports Talks Luke Inman, and Vikings insider Sam Ekstrom, plus the biggest names in Minnesota football for the Minnesota Football Party. And it starts now.
Happy Thursday. Welcome in a brand new episode of the Minnesota Football Party on Locked On Sports Minnesota, also streaming on the Locked On Vikings YouTube channel. And you can find our audio on the Locked On Vikings podcast feed. Lots of ways to watch and listen to us. It's all part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. We appreciate you making us your first watch or listen on this Thursday morning. You met Luke Inman, you met Arif Hasan. Luke Braun of Locked On Vikings is out today under mysterious circumstances that only Arif would know about. But we've got a lot of lists to get into. That furtive look, Arif, that was sinister.
I don't know what you're talking about, man.
The Locked On NFL Top 100.
Guarantee you at least two other people know, and they're not talking.
Yeah, they can't talk, actually. They're incapacitated. We get into our top 30 of our top 91 Vikings list, 30 through 16 today. We wrap that list on Monday. Talk about the Locked On Top 100 today. So list season very much in play. Ron Johnson joins a little bit later in the show. A lot of hype around this Locked On Top 100. Everybody's talking about it on the network right now. This was voted on or ranked with collaboration from the Locked On host. That includes Luke Braun. So did we have a transparent ballot situation? Did he post his ballot? Did he sabotage? Why are there only 3 Vikings on this list?
14-win team with 3 Vikings. What's going on?
The NFL is more optimistic about the Vikings. They've got Van Ginkel. They've got Aaron Jones. They don't appear on the Locked On Top 100. We've got Greenard at 90. We've got Darrisaw at 53. We've got Justin Jefferson at 6. Luke Inman, what's your biggest gripe based on what you've seen so far from this list?
Can I go non-Vikings?
Sure.
I go non-Vikings?
Go for it.
Well, Travis Hunter hasn't played a single down yet. Okay, and I know he's a polarizing prospect and very intriguing. A lot of eyes on him. He's ranked 67.
Wait, hold on. What? I thought
he
you got
hasn't played it down.
99 or something. And I'm like,
No.
he's a rookie.
No,
but
better
that is
than
a
Brian
little
Burns, better than Garrett Wilson, Scary Terry, Antoine Winfield Jr. Yeah,
I'm looking at this list. Okay, so I actually do think Bobby Wagner's ranked too high, but I also would rank Bobby Wagner above a guy who hasn't played yet.
Right? Right? And again, I get the hype. I'm excited to watch this dude. Obviously, just, again, polarizing prospect coming out of Colorado, but holy smokes. And then you got the first kicker, Brandon Aubrey, at 76. So, I think with these
68,
there's a couple more I could rip off. Tight end. I think for me, when I look at JJ, and we'll get into it, Darrisaw, Greenard, I think for me, I start with where are the peers, right? JJ at 6, Jamar Chase at 7, kind of obviously neck and neck with each other. So I feel like that's fair. I think the next receiver is AJ Brown at 16. Personally think I wouldn't have AJ Brown at 3, but nonetheless, kind of splitting hairs there. When I looked at tight end, the first tight end is George Kittle at 22. Okay, I like George Kittle. We all do. The next one
does feel low for any like. I assume that this is supposed to be somewhat position blind. Like we're not ranking players by how important they are.
Probably.
But I think that's what's ending up happening. Tight end, the highest tight end is 22. I don't like that.
And then the next tight end, though, Brock Bowers at 38, so 16 spots. Okay, whatever. But the third tight end, all the way down at 64 is Trey McBride. I don't think there's almost 40 slot difference between George Kittle and Trey McBride. In fact, I think some people might have McBride over Kittle for that matter. So
they shouldn't, but I think your point is well received. Also, just looking at the list right now, they forgot to put the position designation after Derek Stingley Jr. So we got George Kittle, tight end, San Francisco 49ers, Fred Warner, linebacker, San Francisco 49ers, Derek Stingley Jr., Houston Texans.
Yeah.
He's an athlete.
Athlete.
Star.
Well-paid athlete.
Star player. Yeah.
Yeah.
So those were a couple that just jumped out. Kyle Hamilton at 26, I think, obviously gives a lot of Vikings fans a little pit in their stomach seeing Kyle Hamilton, one of the top 26 players in the NFL after a couple of years. So those are the big ones. By the way, Sauce Gardner now lower than Derek Stingley. Sauce had that amazing rookie year, but Stingley at the time, a lot of people were like, man, maybe not a bust, but man, they should have taken Sauce Gardner. And now here we are 3 years later. It's just another good example. I didn't. No,
they're doing the thing where they ask like 50 executives to rank players at every position. Stingley landed above Gardner on that list too. So it sounds like both Locked On and executives kind of agree. Stingley's, you're right.
He's been locked down. He's been a stud, and it's just a fun example for people who get into the draft not to overreact to 1 year. Obviously, again, let's give our flowers to Sauce Gardner that rookie year because he deserved it. But just because Sauce had a great rookie year didn't mean at the time Derek Stingley was a bust or anything like that. So here we are 3 years later, and he's again ahead of Gardner. Tyreek Hill, just 1 year removed from 1,800-yard season, dropped all the way down to 25. So obviously the Dolphins didn't have a great.
He didn't even get a 1,000-yard season this last year. So
no, he didn't. I just feel like. As long as
it's what the NFL is like. You're right. Yeah. It's like you just sometimes just fall off. That happened to Cooper Kupp, and people were actually a lot slower to react.
That's right. That's a good
Kupp
point.
Not hitting his 1,800 or 1,700 yard peak, right? Or I guess it's like 19.
Triple crown. Yeah.
And then 2 years later, he had fallen off pretty hard, and people weren't willing to recognize.
They weren't giving up. They weren't giving up.
Yeah, I think here people are a little bit more, willing to recognize that maybe Hill isn't the player that he once was. And, I'm not going to speculate on the differences about why those two get treated differently. But, you had executives in that piece ranking the wide receivers, right?
Yeah.
Saying, first of all, the executives were like, man, I guess this is the year Jamar Chase is ahead of Justin Jefferson, which, no, you're wrong about that. But other than that, the executive saying, I don't even know if Tyreek Hill is top 5 anymore, which is like nuts.
I think the thing with Tyreek Hill, outside of the cliches that we're not going to discuss, I think with Tyreek Hill, specifically the player, his skill set is he is a burner. And I think every year he gets older, people just assume is this the year that the speed is finally going to drop off a little bit? But with Tyreek, I mean, even 90% speed from his peak, from his prime, is still faster than so many other guys in the league. So, I mean, he could have a normal Tyreek Hill season again this year and jump right back into the top 10, top 15.
Didn't Tyreek just go out and run a 10.1 100-yard dash?
He's on another level.
Crazy.
He's I think he's 31. Yeah. And he's going to be fast. So,
I think a lot of people think that every speedster is going to drop off. But I mean, Deshaun Jackson.
Yeah.
It took
How about Darrell Green for Washington?
Darrell Green
corner,
is
39 years old, 40 years old, still balling out there. Yeah.
Yeah. So sometimes speed drops off really quickly, especially if you're not particularly fast to begin with. I think Josh Norman's a really good example of that. Once he lost a little bit of speed, he was done.
Yeah.
But I mean, sometimes, fast players just stay fast. Patrick Peterson, obviously he wasn't as fast by the time he got to the Vikings. That was one of the reasons he was available for the Vikings to sign, is that he was no longer as fast as he once was, but he maintained a pretty high level of speed for, most of his career. So sometimes speed just kind of does stick around for a while.
Malik Neighbors all the way down at 92, and say what you want. I mean, poor quarterback situation and all that in New York, maybe some inflated stats because they were losing in a lot of games. I got to imagine I would have ranked him a lot higher, just seeing where some of the other receivers are.
He did really well.
Yeah, definitely. And then one more. I love Jalen Carter coming out. I think he's a stud. He's a baller in the middle of that Philly defense, obviously.
35 is nuts.
Well, again, compared to your peer, where are some of your peers? Okay, Dexter Lawrence, 2 spots ahead of you. Okay. And my computer.
Which it looks like that's the highest DT is, which I don't like. Dexter Lawrence.
Chris Jones, I think, is in that top 15.
Chris Jones, they put OT in the written portion.
But
the says DT. Yeah.
Who edited this? Was this you, Sam? Do you edit this?
Again.
I'm not going to say it.
Chris Jones, offensive
blame Luke Braun. Blame Luke Braun.
There you go. Jeffrey Simmons, though, 55. And where's the last guy on here?
I wouldn't have put Jalen Carter at 35, especially with Dexter Lawrence at 33 and Jeffrey Simmons, where you just said Calais Campbell, who's technically a defensive end, is kind of like in that category at 48.
Yeah.
Cameron Hayward also in that category. He's listed as a DL at 42. Jalen Carter's great. Don't get me wrong. I think 35 is
a little rich. Yeah. Kirby Joseph. I mean, obviously we see him twice a year, so we know him well. But 45 just seems a little high. I guess maybe I didn't know the national love that he's gotten.
He is one of the better safeties in the league. He should definitely be on the list. Maybe 45 is a bit high. I think that might be fair. A lot of quarterbacks in this list. I don't like that.
Vikings question. Christian Darrisaw, the 7th ranked tackle on the list. That feel about right? Like if you think about
7th ranked tackle?
No, that's too low.
Too low.
He got hurt.
Jones
he got hurt.
Penei Sewell, Lane Johnson, Tristan Wirfs, Jordan Mailata, Laramie Tunsil, Trent Williams, all above. I mean, like there's no bums on that list either.
Yeah.
Like, do we overrate Darrisaw as a top 5 tackle, and maybe
we don't.
More like top 10 is fair?
First, we don't do that. Second, I think Trent Williams is a little underrated, though I can see why people are just expecting because of the age. I think Penei Sewell is overrated on this list. In fact, actually, Mitchell Schwartz had a thread about that 1 or 2 days ago about how Penei Sewell is overrated, and he was very careful to say Penei Sewell is one of the top tackles in the league. I am not trying to say that he is a bad tackle or even a mediocre tackle. I think he's great. But when your bread and butter is as a run blocker and you're not that good relative to these other elite players as a pass protector, I can't take you as a top 3 tackle. That's his argument. I think it's a good one. It's one reason I put Christian Darrisaw above Penei Sewell. I would not put him above Tristan Wirfs. I think maybe I would put him above Trent Williams, but that's very speculative. I don't know. I feel uncomfortable with that. But I would put him above Penei for sure. Lane Johnson, that one's a tough one for me. I don't know if I would do that. But I think Darrisaw is like a 4 or 5 kind of guy. I don't think he's a 7.
I will say, Sam, to your point, when you look at the top 7 tackles in the NFL,
I think I'm above Laramie Tunsil.
There are no bums, right? So it's just kind of, pick your poison, pick your flavor where you kind of rank those. But I agree with you, Arif. Some of these guys a little bit too high, and Darrisaw a little bit too low for me too. Now, granted, naturally, people just see, he missed half the season. Maybe we're going to bump him down a little bit. If he had a little bit larger sample size last year and people got to see him a little bit more on that, 14-win season, especially come playoff time and things like that, maybe.
I bet that plays a role, but also kind of reveals we're going to do that to Darrisaw, but not for Justin Herbert. Yep. We're going to do that for Darrisaw, but
popularity.
Williams. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
Totally. Before we start our Vikings rankings, let's just look at this top 10 real quickly, and we'll share particularly the top 5. I think that there's probably a lot of vitriol over this right here. Lamar Jackson 1, Mahomes 2, Allen 3, Myles Garrett 4, Joe Burrow 5. Then we get into Jefferson, Chase, Parsons, Surtain, and Barkley.
I don't know why I feel this strongly about a 5-6 distinction, but I very strongly feel Justin Jefferson should be above Joe Burrow, but not. I don't really care about 1 through 4. I think that's fair. I think I would take all 4 of those guys above Jefferson, but it's like you cannot tell me that Joe Burrow is better at his job than Justin Jefferson is at his.
I think it's a fair point.
Yeah.
I have not honed in and sat down and watched Patrick Surtain a ton last year.
Oh, he's so good, dude.
But I know how good he is. I know how good he was coming out of Alabama. I remember his rookie year, and he's gotten better and better and better every year.
Yeah.
Top 10 pick. I kind of I don't know how some people feel about it. I kind of love that he's getting some more love and recognition, some more spotlight, some more flowers, because he deserves it.
I think you might be able to quibble about him as a top 10 player. I don't think I would, but I think it's fair to put him there for sure up there with Michael Parsons, Saquon Barkley.
Just
sure.
to kind of wake some people up, shake some people up. Like, maybe we could argue maybe he could drop down into that, 10 to 20 slot. But just to let you know, in case you didn't know or forgot, Patrick Surtain is one of, if not the best cornerback in the league right now.
Our rankings of the Vikings 91-man roster continue after this word. We're brought to you today by FanDuel. Summer sports in full swing. Second half of the baseball season about to get underway. WNBA hitting its All-Star break. Lynx 20-4. Maybe get in on that futures bet now for the Lynx winning the title. Also got the Open Championship right now. It started, but it's not too late to wager. Live wagering in play all week. I'm all over Rory McIlroy with the home Open in Northern Ireland. Little shaky start this morning. That's okay. He's just getting the jitters out. New daily promotions available at FanDuel. You can put together a same game parlay, which is a lot of fun. And if you're new to FanDuel, you can bet $5. If you win that bet, you get $150 in bonus bets. Bet 5, get 150. It's a great deal at FanDuel right now. Open the app today, the FanDuel Sportsbook app, or visit FanDuel.com to get started. All right, we go back to the screen share. We show you where we're at with our Vikings top 91, ranking every single player in the 91-man roster. We left off at 31. We don't have Braun. We do have Arif Hasan and Luke Inman. So we ended with Arif. Your final 5 were Okudah, Felton, Wright, Naylor, and Mason. Inman, you went with Tim Jones, Tyrion Ingram-Dawkins, Jeff Okudah, Justin Skule, Mekhi Blackman. I went with Tavier Thomas, Rondale Moore, Blake Brandel, Justin Skule, and Sam Howell. Arif, give me 30 through 26.
As fast as possible, right? That's what you like?
Yeah, speed talk, debate style.
30 long snapper, Andrew DePaula. I'm really curious where Luke Braun has him ranked. Again, for people who haven't listened to the way that we talk about this, the way I organized this was that I separated players into essentially 4 roles: starter, rotation, backup/bubble, and then guys I don't think will make the roster. And then I ranked everybody within those tiers. And Andrew DePaula is a starter. So I know that not everybody's going to have a long snapper this high. I don't know if anybody's ranked DePaula yet, but I think that, 30 is fine. I think Luke Braun probably has him higher because he calls him a 4-time All-Pro or whatever he is, which he might be, but I also don't think that anybody votes on that. So it just gets to be picked as that. Theo Jackson is 29 for me. I'm obviously very impressed with him, but we only have a small sample from him, and so we don't know if he's going to be any good. But the Vikings have placed a lot of trust in him, so I'm gonna take that and run with it at 29. A similar thing for Isaiah Rodgers, who I'm not there yet, so don't write that down. But when we get there, it's going to be a similar thing. And then 28, Dallas Turner. I need to kind of see him take the next step. I think, Tyler Forness over at A to Z Sports, Luke Braun, everybody's made a pretty good point that it's not the lack of snaps that demonstrates that he's not been playing well. He's played relatively well when he's been given snaps. But I do think it plays a small role in why I don't regard him as important as some of these other players. And I'm going to name this next guy, and you're going to think, well, hey, isn't Dallas Turner better than this guy? And yeah, but this guy's going to be more impactful. Blake Brandel, the guard. Pretty bad year. Bad enough that the Vikings were instead of defending his play, we're you have to give him grace. That tells me a lot. But I think that he is more important to the Vikings' success as probably the top rotational guard going forward than Dallas Turner will be. Hopefully, we'll see. And then I've got Tyrion Ingram-Dawkins. I kind of debated about, having him this high, especially for a 5th round pick. But I just think he's going to play an important part of that rotation.
Some would say that Brandel is not guaranteed to play, whereas Turner basically is guaranteed
that's
to
a
play
good point. But if you lose one of them, who are you more concerned about losing? I'm more concerned about losing your primary backup guard, because if Brandel's playing, he's playing a lot.
You're right. If he's playing, it's in a starting role.
Yeah.
And Turner might be a rotational piece all year. So yeah. It's
no, that
weighted
is a good
very
point.
differently. Luke Inman, 30 through 26.
Somewhat similar at the bottom, but let's start at the top. Jalen Naylor, solid wide receiver 3. I don't think he very reliable. Definitely got your money's worth out of a day 3 pick a couple of years ago. I don't think he's anything extra special though, or this mismatch weapon on third down, anything like that. Next guy, Sam Howell. I think I'm the highest on Sam Howell. Now, Sam, I think you had him just a couple spots ago.
31.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, yeah. So pretty close.
I have him like way back, don't I? Yeah.
Yeah, maybe it's fool's
40.
gold, but I keep going back to that second year. The guy's only been in the league 3 years. He started one season his second year on a not good Ron Rivera-led Washington team. Bieniemy, I think, was his offensive coordinator. He threw for 4,000 yards. Now, I know they went like 4-13, but I see some talent there. And yeah, maybe I'm buying into the just KOC kind of ecosystem, but I'm not ready to give up quite yet on Sam Howell, at least as a solid, good backup in the league as a number 2. Theo Jackson at 28. Not too much to add on to what Arif said. I'll echo the same things. Just need to see it. He's when he's gotten opportunities, he's definitely been out there making a few splash plays, which is nice to see. But just need to see him in a bigger sample size right now. Blake Brandel, 27. And I also have Dallas Turner, 26.
Blake Brandel,
Pretty aligned on
27.
these.
Dallas.
Well, you get down to this like top 30, and I think we all are going to have the similar top 12-ish. And then you get into the nickel corners and third safeties. Where do you put CJ Ham, the fullback, and Will Reichard, the kicker, and things like that? Yeah. Josh Oliver, a tight end too. But I think we're going to be pretty aligned for the most part on most of these.
Spoiler: Harrison Smith not in my top 12.
Let's see where I got him.
Interesting. Jalen Redmond was ranked 41 by both Arif and Luke.
I have him 12. Spoiler. Sorry. What do you got him, 13?
I'm going Jalen Redmond, number 30. He's like first guy off the bench on the interior, potentially. He could be number DT4 in essence, right behind Allen, Hargrave, and Phillips. I think that's fairly significant. Number 29, how do you rank a fullback? Even a good fullback. Where do you put a fullback who plays 10 to 15 snaps a game? Well, I put CJ Ham 29th. That's where you rank a fullback. I don't think you guys have
a song in Rent. How do you rank a fullback?
What, you gonna sing a few bars?
No,
for us? Give us a little.
No,
okay.
I'm gonna let the listeners imagine. 525,000. However that song goes.
Put your auto tune on.
How do you rank a fullback?
Get AI singing Arif at some point? I think
I don't love this idea actually. Let's not explore that.
Love it.
Let's not go down that.
Love it. Loser punishment of some kind, like preseason fantasy football.
No, oh God, I think I've lost that
coming up
both years.
I mean, you realize we've got like Mr. Mankato pick coming up on Monday. We've got preseason fantasy football probably coming up a week after that. It's going to get heated on this show real fast. And we got gambling in like a month. So it's getting real. 27. Did I say Naylor? Naylor 28. 27, Josh Oliver. So right now we're in these are top backups. These are first off the bench. Naylor wide receiver 3. Josh Oliver tight end 2. And 26, Jordan Mason, RB2. I'm probably higher on Mason than most, just like philosophically. I just didn't want to put him over someone who is going to play every single snap and say, oh, hey, Jordan Mason's not more important than Theo Jackson. It's kind of how I rationalize that. So those are my 30 through 26. Ron not here yet. Why don't we continue with 25 through 21, Arif Hasan?
Isaiah Rodgers, similar with Theo Jackson, played really well in a small sample. The Vikings handed him a contract that you assume would suggest, a pretty heavy snap rotation. I like him, but we won't know until we know. Will Reichard at 24. I'm pretty worried about Reichard. I think that it's not necessarily just injury that he fell off. We talked about this in the last episode. But he is a starter, so he gets to be on this list around this point. Javon Hargrave, 23. I think that he's going to be more of a rotational guy than somebody like a Jonathan Allen. And so I just can't put him any higher on this list, even though I like him a lot. And then 22, how do you rank a fullback? CJ Ham.
22. That's where you rank a fullback. That's where you rank a fullback. Country song.
Yeah, I was like, hey, hold on. That's not a musical. That's...
Are there not country musicals?
They have like musicals to have a pretty...
Oh, what was Oklahoma?
Universal cadence. Got a little bit of show tunes in there.
I think you got one more.
Oh, yeah, sure. What do I got? Mekhi Blackman, 21. We don't know anything about him. He's been injured. The Vikings trust him a lot. And, you know, I feel like that's kind of Isaiah Rodgers-ish, but I think that there's a reason Isaiah Rodgers hasn't been playing, which is that he wasn't good enough, mind you, with like some outstanding corners. With Mekhi Blackman, the reason he hasn't been playing is not related to how good he is. So I put him a little bit higher.
All right, Luke Inman, 25.
Will Reichert, 25. Where do you rank a fullback? CJ Ham at 24. Seem to be pretty aligned right there. Josh Oliver, 23. Probably more important in this system than maybe some other systems, but when given the opportunity, especially with Hawkinson down, one of the better blockers in the league as well. So Josh Oliver, 23. Isaiah Rodgers, 22. Again, echoing the same thoughts. Need to see a bigger sample size. Penciled in right now as the cornerback 2. Flores, obviously, like he should be, giving him high praise right now, but still need to see it, especially over, again, just a 17-game kind of gauntlet. Donovan Jackson, 21. Not low on Donovan Jackson. Love the pick. Late first round. Needed a guard. Plug and play. Should be a starter week 1. Just haven't seen it. Just like we go back to like the Travis Hunter 67 in the top 100. Just need to see him out there with my own 2 eyes. And 21, all things considering, I don't think is crazy, extremely low either. So, yeah, there is 25 through 21.
Yeah, I think it makes sense. There's 22 starters, and he's probably one of the biggest question marks. So you put him at 21, kind of the bottom of the starters. Arif, I have to question you. I noticed you don't have Josh Oliver yet.
That's
you
correct.
said you kind of categorized by backups, by starters, but yet you've got Josh Oliver in your top 22.
In the top 22, yeah.
Okay.
It's a 2 tight end set. Come on.
Hey, whatever floats your boat. 25, I'm going to go Will Reichert. We've all got him in a very similar spot. I think he's super important as like your most important special teamer right outside your normal starters. 24, one of the key backups on this team, it's Dallas Turner. I'm high on what Dallas Turner can do this year. How's that for a hot take? 23, Donovan Jackson. What would you say his percentages to win this job? 78%?
If everybody's
85.
healthy, yeah, 85. Yeah, 85, 90.
Yeah.
Maybe even 90, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that tracks. 22, Mekhi Blackman. I don't know. There's a lot of question marks on this defense, and not to say that they're not good players, but just not knowing how they're going to bounce back from injury, long time not playing, in a bigger role. Mekhi Blackman's probably one of the biggest ones for me. What is he? Is this going to be a Caleb Evans situation where, we saw him be pretty good his rookie year and he was cut? Or is it going to be something more significant than that? Hopefully it's more significant. And then 21, Theo Jackson, entrusting a lot. And this is another just a murky player on that defensive depth chart. We don't know. Vikings are really counting on a lot of development this year. Theo Jackson's, they're probably counting on Theo Jackson to develop the most from where he was at a year ago. But they did this with Josh Metellus, and it worked out awesome. So that gets us to number 20. We will get at some point to Ron Johnson as we await his arrival, but we'll pause right now, and we'll do 20 through 16 next. Let's just keep it rolling. Let's go number 20. Arif Hasan, we're in the top 20. Who you got?
Not Josh Oliver. Just you wait. It's Donovan Jackson. Yeah, I mean, the same reason as everyone else. He's starting. He's important. We don't know how good he is, but we're reasonably confident. He's pretty decent, right? Like both because of his draft slot and because of his consensus board rank. So I don't want to like knock him too much, even though the Vikings may have reached for him, right? Number 19, Ivan Pace. I think I'm not going to say he's topped out or anything like that, but I think the Vikings just don't expect him to add more to, the plate of responsibilities that he's currently, enjoying, right? I think that they just like to see him as primarily a blitzer, a little bit of a run stopper, not much of a coverage guy, which is super valuable, obviously, in this defense. But I think that if they could put him into a sub package role with another high level linebacker, they might consider something like that, which is not a knock. Huge, a boon to have an undrafted free agent do this into his third year. So I don't want to like go overboard with any Ivan Pace criticism. I love him, but that's where we're at. 18. Yeah. Josh Oliver. I just think he'll get a lot of snaps. I think that's like a fair thing to say. Like, yeah, we're talking about starters versus rotation versus backups and stuff like that. But when you think about like expected snap counts, like, yeah, probably, if Blackman wins the job as the third cornerback, he gets more snaps than Josh Oliver. But I don't know that Blackman's going to win that job. I do know that Josh Oliver does have the tight end 2 job, so that's unambiguous to me. And I think that the way that the Vikings deploy Josh Oliver is a little bit more important to the way that offense runs than a lot of other players in this list. And I think that fact, plus his overall talent level, which we know is significant enough to push him above, these other guys that we're pretty confident will start. Then after that, this got really hard. 17, Joshua Metellus. Again, love him. Really wanted to rank him higher, but you take a look at everybody I've got ranked above him, and it's like those guys all play really significant roles with really high snap counts. Metellus is awesome, and 17 obviously is a great spot to be. So that's not really a knock, but it's just somebody that I just really wanted to rank higher. Oh well. 16, I've got Jonathan Allen. The defensive linemen are just going to be in a heavy rotation. He's a really, really, really talented player. We're not going to get peak Allen, and that's totally fine. We're not paying for peak Allen. But we're going to get a very good player that's going to help the defense out pretty significantly.
All right. Luke Inman.
Javon Hargraves as well, echoing Arif's thoughts. Thought you nailed it. Again, just a heavy rotation. I also am going to have Jonathan Allen in here in this next 5 as well. And I think you just nailed it right on the head. Like, we're not paying for the peak or the prime of these guys. They're going to be in a heavy rotation, but still very talented in their own unique roles. It's just going to be fun to watch kind of how Brian Flores uses them in certain situations. So Javon Hargraves starting my list off. Jordan Mason, 19, I think I'm the highest, maybe only by a little bit, but of us 4, I think this guy could be a starting running back in the league. If he was just handed the starting running back job, I think he would not skip a beat. I don't think it's something that he can only get 10, 12 carries a game, something like that. And also, too, when it comes to snap counts, Aaron Jones is another year older. The last couple of years, he's been dinged up quite a bit, missed a game here or there. But last year, even when he did play, questionable every week going into practice, started a game and then would miss the second half. You're going to need a guy that can run the ball and run it effectively and still get you those 15, 20 carries. I think Jordan Mason is going to be extremely valuable as a quote-unquote backup, but to me, I look at it kind of as 1A and 1B. Ivan Pace, again, kind of the same thoughts as Arif. Really good at what he does. Really good. Just a little limited in kind of what they put on his plate. He had the green dot those 2 games. Blake Cashman was out. He was fine. He was okay. He got the calls in, everything else. But to be honest, things just looked, you could just tell, things just looked a little bit more choppy with the communication those 2 games. Again, really good at blitzing, stuff in that A gap, getting into the backfield. But coverage, it's a passing league, maybe not a true 3-down kind of guy. Ryan Kelly, 17. Same kind of theory, I think, to Javon Hargraves and Jonathan Allen, not paying for his prime anymore. I want to say he's going to be 35 or is 35 right now. Total stud, top 3 center in the league during his prime and peak. I'm not saying he's dropped off a cliff by any means. He's just been really hurt the last 2 years. If he's healthy, I think he's still going to be one of the anchors right in the middle of this offensive line. It's just, knock on wood, just trying to stay healthy. Jonathan Allen, 16, rounding out these next 5.
32 years old. Ryan Kelly, 32 years old.
That's it?
Don't put him in those mid-30s yet. He's still a young. He's early 30s. Early 30s.
Oh, he's a spring chicken.
Yeah.
Hold on. That might be my mulligan then. Okay. I might have to use my mulligan.
I'm strongly considering using my mulligan on Jordan Mason. I think I've got him too low. I think 26 is too low. He's going to be like a top 15 impact player for this team, possibly. Also, Inman, I think you still have Silas Bolden ranked twice up here somewhere.
Yeah,
we got it. 64. And, we couldn't do with just one.
If you can tell me the player I'm missing, Sam, then I will absolutely use my mulligan on that. So
I'm out.
Yeah.
You can't do that. Okay. Okay. Email me access to the document and I will figure this out.
Done.
Perfect. I don't know what kind of havoc you'll wreak in here, but I will risk that. I'll take that gamble.
Wait, I don't want you to see my top 15 though.
It's not the same.
I think he means.
I meant the top 91 document that Sam has.
Okay.
Yeah.
Harrison Smith, 12. He's in my top 12.
Yeah, those are strongly concealed files on Inman's broken computer.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, by that way, no one's going to get access to them. What better place?
Not even him.
Yeah.
Number 20, Ivan Pace Jr. I don't love the injuries that popped up last year. 2 soft tissue issues, so that's a red flag. But I love the player. I love the recklessness that he plays with. Sometimes it burns you, but a lot of times the way he can split through a couple blockers and slither kind of under people almost to get to a ball carrier. It's fun to watch. He's a fun player to watch. 19, Javon Hargrave. I know that Luke Braun is not high on this guy because apparently he didn't stop the run. He didn't stop Ty Chandler enough in the Niners game. But I'm still pretty high on him. Number 18, Blake Cashman, came on the Ron Johnson show on Tuesday. So we got to put him in the top 20. He's a friend of the show. He's a friend of Locked On Sports Minnesota. We love Blake. Number 17, Isaiah Rodgers. Whether he's good or not, he's going to be super impactful on this team. I mean, he's going to be the CB2. I don't know who even threatens him for that role. So he's going to play a lot of snaps, probably the biggest role of his career. And then 16, the ancient one, Ryan Kelly, 1 foot in the grave.
Collecting Social Security.
He is my number 16 Minnesota Viking. We're still waiting for Ron. Let's just take stock of where we're at here. We're into our top 15. We'll unveil the top 15 on Monday on the eve of training camp report day. How well timed is that? That's just great organization. Here's my question. This is recycled a bit from our Wednesday show. I'm going to put a twist on it. If you're looking at pending Vikings free agents, I've cherry picked a handful. I want you to rank them in terms of who makes the most money next offseason to least money next offseason. I'm also going to include Ivan Pace. He's a restricted free agent. So the Vikings have the inside track, but there is still going to be a contract given. So we've got Ivan Pace, Josh Metellus, who's not signed yet, Jalen Naylor. I'm even going to throw Jeff Okuda, or let's say wild card. I was going to say Jeff Okuda. And there's more, too. There's Ty Chandler. There's Rondale Moore. I don't know if they're in this conversation, but who's going to earn the most?
Metellus and Smith void into next year, too, right?
I'm kind of thinking Smith's. This is his swan song. I mean, Smith's contract.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Putting it out there.
Sure, throw him in there. Throw Smith in there. Who do you think is Metellus the easy number one?
Is that all the free agents they have next year? No Brian O'Neill?
I mean, there are a lot of free agents, but
they're going to have 22 starters back if Smith comes back and doesn't retire. Like,
wow,
everyone's
back.
Wow,
crazy. Yeah. Like, there's a lot of free agents, and not a ton of them matter. Like, I mean, Ryan Wright matters.
Yeah,
but like for the most part,
second teamers, glue guys.
Yeah,
sure. Special teams guys. Yeah.
Wow. But yeah, I think Metellus is at the top of that list. If Okuda wins a starting job, which again I don't think is very likely, I think he would leapfrog somebody like CJ Ham, but CJ Ham would be at the top of the list.
I will just to play devil's advocate and have some fun. Metellus, I think pretty easy at the top, Sam. But if Addison gets suspended, let's say he gets suspended 4 games, and Jalen Naylor comes in as the number 2, and really flashes. He pulls like a Juwan Jennings, right? When Ayuk went out and just really showcases, some skill sets that maybe to the national public a little bit more, to all 32 teams that maybe they just didn't see on a bigger scale. And they can start viewing him as a number 2/strong number 3 guy. Just knowing the position, knowing how cheap these safeties get paid, even though Metellus, you don't want to box him in as just a safety, as we've always talked about. Just knowing how much wideouts get paid now. Maybe Jalen Nailor kind of pushes Josh Metellus if all those dominoes fall in place.
I mean, that's not a bad argument to make. I like that argument. Also, we just know when a quarterback just spends any time at all with Kevin O'Connell, suddenly he has access to an enormous contract. So Sam Howell, we got to put up on the list.
Yep.
Recently from the spring leagues. But yeah, I think that there's not like a ton of players to put in serious consideration next to Naylor and Metellus and maybe CJ Ham. Like Ryan Wright's going to get some money, but it's not going to be like a ton. He's a punter, right? Mm-hmm. So is he going to make more than CJ Ham, who makes almost $3 million a year? Probably not. Ryan Wright's like not a great punter, and I think you have to be pretty close to great to get $3 million. So
if I'll tell you
what do you think about Pace? Sorry to interrupt. What do you think about Pace though? Because Pace, again, they're like there is no draft compensation attached.
They could just put a second round tender on him, right? Like you don't use an original round tender on an undrafted guy, but you can use a second round tender on him, and like maybe they'll give him a longer contract than that just to have him locked down for longer, make sure he doesn't hit free agency, do right by him, all those things. But they have the negotiating leverage because they can just put a tender on.
One more year, then he gets paid the bigger money the year after.
Yeah,
I know with Thielen, I want to say with Thielen, who had already flashed, I think they ripped up the tender and gave him a pretty nice contract after that. I could be mistaken, but I think Thielen got paid. Yeah, check out his Spotrac. But Metellus probably the correct answer. I would still put it 75% he gets paid before the season based on the hold-in activity during mini camp.
65-70 I'm at.
They operate,
Definitely more than half. Yeah, definitely leaning. He should be getting a contract. He should be getting paid, especially knowing just how important he is to Brian Flores' system specifically, but also just the kind of question marks in the secondary they got going on, just how much they're going to lean on him and his communication and his kind of veteran presence in the Flores system itself. I'll just throw out one more devil's advocate, a la kind of the Jalen Nailor path. If Jeff Okudah wins the number 3 job, and then Isaiah Rodgers gets dinged up for 4 or 5 games, and he just goes out there again in this Brian Flores system. You got 3 really talented pass rushers up front. You get up 2 touchdowns in a couple games, and he gets a couple freebie, splashy interceptions, pass deflections, things like that. Just because of the name, it's Jeff Okudah, former top 3 pick 4 years ago. He could make a little bit of change as well. I'm not saying he's going to break the bank like Sauce Gardner, but he could be in that, a little bit above Jair Alexander type of money in that 8 to 10 to 12 kind of range per year.
2 things, Sam. One, according to Spotrac, which, kind of difficult, going all the way back to 2016, it seems as if Thielen played all of 2016 under that tender. It was kind of an unusual situation because he had an undrafted free agency contract in 2013. It was replaced in 2014 when he made the team. So it looks like he only had a 2-year contract, but it ended with an exclusive rights window, which the Vikings used to put a tender on him, which he played under in 2016. And then in 2017, he signed a 4-year, $19 million deal. So it seems like he did actually play under that tender. Based off of what that looks like. Second thing, Rita Bill asks a good question in the comments about, hey, if Brian Flores leaves, do we think that Josh Metellus follows him? Because he is like a free agent, right? So he'd be, we'd have news of Brian Flores leaving sometime in January, February, right? And then in March, Metellus has the opportunity to sign. So if he doesn't sign an extension in camp now, like you just suggested, is very possible, and I think would be very smart for the Vikings to do that. Would he follow Brian Flores? And I think if I were him, I would strongly consider that. Obviously, it depends on the team and what their cap situation is and what their roster situation is and stuff like. Obviously, all of that matters. But I think broadly speaking, the guy that kept rocketing up your value for sure. Like it's really tough in the NFL, even as a talented player, to find places and systems that put you at your best, right? Because under Mike Zimmer liked Josh Metellus. He liked him, and he would experiment with what he would do in camp. He had him doing man coverage before I think any of us thought it was a good idea, right? He was a box safety. It was in Michigan. And so the idea that he'd be doing man coverage was so bizarre. They had him doing that in camp, and then they didn't do anything with it, right? And so even if you have a coach that likes you, that recognizes your talents, it's not the same as a coach that does both of those things and knows how to use them in a way that kind of maximizes what you do. So if I were him, I'd strongly consider it. It is tough, though, if the only thing in the NFL you've ever known is the Vikings, because maybe except for one or two organizations, and this is an NFLPA report card take. This is not me just being a Vikings homer. It's gonna be a step down. Like, you might win more games going somewhere else. I'm not saying you won't, although if they're firing their coach, probably not. But you're not, if you have a family, you're not going to get to spend as much time with them or have them taken care of by the team as much. The facilities might not be as nice. You might not have as many recovery options available to you after a game or right before practice or something like that. Your weight room might not be as high tech as you might need it to be or that you're used to. You might not have access to the recovery tools there. You might not have as good of a nutrition program. It's tough to go from the Vikings somewhere else. So those are probably other things to consider. But I think
what year? Now my wheels are turning about that Zimmer story. What year? I want to say he was drafted in 2021 with Blake Brandel and the slew
of huge
of
class, right?
Picks.
Like 14 guys.
Yeah, the safety from Wyoming that went to Philly and won a ring.
Epps.
Not Lewisine. Epps. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I just remember there was a year where it was like we had just a hodgepodge under Zimmer of cornerbacks we were starting. It was like Holton Hill.
He was drafted in 2020, by the way.
2020. Okay.
Yeah.
Holton Hill, the UDFA from Texas, and a couple other.
Gladney and Dantzler were the young guys.
Okay. Yeah. Yep. Exactly. And it's like, to your point, Arif, I mean, I'm not saying let's go throw him out at boundary corner, but like, why not put him in some man cover corner situations, just given the lack of depth that year? If those years matched up, I'd have to go back and look.
Well, 2020, there was absolutely a depth problem, but he was a rookie safety at the time, so it's probably why. But yeah, 2021, there were a couple of depth issues as well, and it would have kind of maybe made sense to like throw him out there and see what he did. But, maybe he wasn't seasoned enough, maybe... there's a variety of things, but I think from his perspective, he's got to be thinking, well, you needed a defensive back, and I'm a defensive back.
I gotta throw this up there. Tankersley, Holton Hill, Tankersley. Just
Tankersley is who you play when you're tanking.
That is Chris Jones, but not that one, and also not that one.
Harrison Ann from Temple, the seventh rounder from Temple.
Oh
my gosh. We come back. Inside information on the Everson Griffen airplane incident. Everson Griffen. It is sad. It's sad, like, when things pop up like this. It's sad that there's been DUI issues. Obviously, his mental health's been in question. Another one yesterday. Everson Griffen removed from a Delta flight for unruly behavior. People think I'm not sourced up because I don't write anymore. No, I'm still.
Yeah, I was waiting. Do you know somebody at Delta? What's going on here? Sorry, I wouldn't ask you to reveal your sources.
Yeah, journalistic integrity, right? The code,
right.
Code. Here's what I know. Everson Griffen was confronted for vaping in an airplane lavatory, and he refused to. Yeah. There was an exchange. It was not violent in nature. There wasn't pushing, shoving, there wasn't yelling, but there was a very upsetting exchange between Everson and the flight attendant. Everson then somewhat belligerently refused to sit down, and airplane passengers were planes in the air. Passengers were saying, "Please sit down. Want to get home. Want to get to my destination." Wouldn't do it. So the pilot said, "We're going to land. We're going to. We've got a passenger problem," and they did, and they took Everson off the plane. And that's what I know.
That's a quick going back to MSP from Chicago.
Trying to get to MSP from Chicago.
Quick flight, man. Like, as soon as you're getting up, you're going back down, dude.
That's a real quick flight. That's like an hour and a half. Yeah. I mean, Everson claims he wasn't unruly at all, which, I think anybody in his situation would also claim that. So, take that for what it's worth. But if your sources are correct, Sam, it sounds like while he wasn't belligerent or violent, certainly he was uncooperative, which, by the way, we don't see this play out all that often. But because of a swath of laws passed in 2001, it is a felony. It's a federal offense to not cooperate with flight attendants after the doors have closed. So certainly while the plane is in the air, but after the doors have closed. So we'll see if anything happens as a result of that. Typically, it doesn't actually result in legal charges, especially if no one's been violent. But like that's a thing to pay attention to.
I checked the arrest reports. Didn't find an official arrest on file. Don't know how long those take necessarily to get logged. I did check. Did my diligence on that. And you said Everson responded. Was this on Twitter?
No, it's a Star Tribune story.
He did get back to the strip because, yep. All right.
Yeah. So it's in the Star Tribune story, updated like 20 minutes before the show or something like that. So, he was like, why would they let me go? Right. Like I wasn't unruly at all. But yeah, so we don't know anything kind of beyond that. The Tribune story gives like context about like previous arrests and stuff like that. And, his history of behavior, which is obviously really concerning. But for the most part, he got caught vaping in a bathroom, according to your sources.
Yeah, he might get that $2,000-$4,000 fine for the vape. Maybe that's about it.
Yeah. And to be clear, from the government, not from the NFL.
Right. Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
So that's what I got on the Griffen story. This is, I don't know, this is like incident number 5, 6. You hope things are squared away with him. All-time awesome Viking. Yeah. And really like quite interesting to talk to. And I loved the press conferences with him. And I loved watching him play. I just hope that his personal life gets squared away. Now, in conclusion with this show, I'm going to ask you one more recycled question from yesterday. The game we played was roster 1, cut 1, practice squad 1. So I'm giving you 3 names. You have to divvy them up into the category.
Roster 1, cut 1, or what?
Practice squad.
Oh, okay.
Roster, cut, practice squad.
FMK. Got it.
All right. Yeah. Basically. Yeah. Yep. Dwight McGlothern, Jeff Okudah, Tavir Thomas.
Boy, that's a good one.
I am cutting Tavir Thomas. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That hurts. We're practice squatting Jeff Okudah and we're rostering Dwight McGlothern. Let's go.
I didn't have the guts. I'm glad you did. I'm glad you did it. I was thinking I'm not going to have the guts to do it. Cutting Thomas as well. I'll practice squad McGlothern for one more year. Let's see what we got with Okudah.
What more has he got to learn? He's already been on the.
He's ready.
Already been on the roster for a year.
Gold jacket. It's coming.
Yeah.
Practice squad McGlothern was my answer. Okudah roster, Thomas cut, and I like Thomas. That was hard for me.
Well, we know your answer, Sam.
How about the day 3 picks? Day 3 picks: Bartholomew, King, Ingram, Dawkins.
Roster Ingram, Dawkins, practice squad King, Rip. Yep. I feel like he'll just get signed by a team. And cut the tight end.
Done. Copy paste.
Easy
one for
same.
me. Yeah.
Same. Harder one. You got the backup offensive lineman. For whatever reason, they're on the chopping block in this scenario. School, Brandel, Rouse.
Ooh.
School, Brandel, Rouse.
Ooh.
Okay. I think we have to roster School just given how much importance the Vikings have placed on him, and he has been decent when he's actually been on the field. So School, Rouse, and who? Brandel?
Yeah. I'm going to practice squad Brandel, and I'm going to cut
Rouse.
Because I've seen it. Just because I've seen it.
We have to practice squad.
I know a little limited ceiling, but I know the floor is good enough. And Rouse, I just don't know. So got to play that safe.
I'm going to cut School. I think that Brandel can do the job that School might be asked to do. Brandel can do that.
He hasn't done that since what was his rookie year, or did he do that?
Was that Cowboys game at home? Like 37-3, something like that.
He's in a guard's body now, game. Sam. There's no going back.
He goes the week after the Buffalo
10
game.
Pounds and that was it.
It's like riding a bike.
Piece of cake.
He was 1 degree away from left tackle last year. You know, he was hearing all the calls in his ear.
Okay, but like it is meaningful that they lost a left tackle and they weren't like, hey man, remember when you were good at football?
They wanted
Let's have you do
continuity.
that.
They wanted continuity, right? That's not a concern now because Jackson is your guard. PHT, yeah, he's probably not safe in the practice squad.
Yeah, he's not safe in the practice squad.
But
yeah.
I'm practice squadding Rouse. I'm rostering Brandel.
But Sam really wants to engineer a family-friendly way to do FMK, and this is the way to do it. So
with Ron Johnson, we do what's in the fridge. We do you eat it, you save it, you throw it in the trash. Those are the 3 options. What's in the fridge?
Why save it? Why not just eat it though? Why are we saving it?
Because
you got to eat one.
Is saving higher value than eating or lower?
Right.
Saving is hanging on to it for later, like practice squad.
But
right?
that feels like the spring mix. That's the $5 spring mix that I'll save it for later.
Like sometimes my higher value item is the one I'm saving for later so that I can celebrate with it or finish my day.
Save the best for last.
Or eat dessert and I just have to eat like normal food before dessert, otherwise I'll have too much dessert. So sometimes saving is for the higher value item, Sam.
This is an instant gratification exercise. So eating is good. Saving is medium. Throwing away is bad. It's not that complex. Well, good show, fellas. Is
that how Ron views it?
I'm just saying, like, if you marry someone, you get to multiple times, but if you don't K, then you only get the 1 F.
Oh, man.
The mechanics of this exercise are always fascinating, I think. Man, this would have been perfect for Ron. It was too bad he couldn't join the show.
It is a shame. I put him on the rundown and everything. He's a busy man. I get it. He's got softball. You've got softball now, Luke. You've got softball duties too.
Last game of the season, regular season, last night, got the big weekend tournament coming up. They won first place, their mid-season tournament. And then it's off to fall ball. A couple week break, and then it's off to fall ball. Yeah.
The grind never stops.
Who's playing? You or
definitely not me. I'd tweak a hammy quick.
Your exploits in a co-ed softball league. You know,
there was a time. I don't know if there's footage. There was a time.
Yep. Beer league. Yeah.
Don't watch the L22 on that, but
we'll be back Monday again. Luke Braun returns. Mr. Mankato pick. We count down 15-1. Action-packed show. We'll also have like a training camp 53 to unveil.
I think the question is, where does everybody have JJ McCarthy ranked?
Right, yeah.
Like, where are we at on JJ?
Yeah, right.
And where does Arif have Harrison Smith ranked? Oh, no.
Not in the top 12.
Yeah, but definitely the top 15. So who cares?
So 13. Got it.
We appreciate the viewers, the listeners, the commenters, the subscribers, all of you. Thanks for watching the nonsense here on the Minnesota Football Party. See ya.